So you're reading that correctly, guys. Ladies and gents, unfortunately, I regret to inform you that the Nikon D7200 is done for. He fell into a lake, or a tarn more specifically, and the heart is broken. We'll talk about it a little more in a second. Firstly, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. I'm very proud to announce if you need your own photography website, do what I did and head over to squarespace.com to get yourself started. Let's go and have a chat. So let's walk and talk, shall we? Well, I won't be doing much walking if I want to talk. Look at that, it's well steep where I am today. Nikon, guys, raging. So, I don't want to go too much into this because the heart's already broken. I don't want to relive it. But I feel like I owe it to you to explain to you what happened. I was on a workshop with a wonderful gentleman called Andy. He's had a couple of workshops with me, a couple of one-to-ones. They've both been quality. Side of a tarn, talking about low perspective, blah, blah, blah. Camera was on the tripod. Or so I thought it was. See you later. See you later, Nikon. It was proper, right? You know that, what's that saying? You don't know if to laugh or cry. It was the ultimate. The tears were in my head somewhere, laughing my head off. It bounced off the bank of the tarn and in it plopped. And it was, I'd say a good 6 or 7 seconds, it was fully submerged. I went in, foot was in the tarn, got it out, and when the water's dripping off it, and yeah, it wasn't good. There was like water in the lens. It was my 55-300 lens. Just water in places where there shouldn't be water, you know, in a camera. So yeah, it's been at home for about 3 or 4 days now, drying away on the windowsill in the sun. I've had it in rice. I know some people say that you shouldn't have it in rice. What have I got to lose? I don't know. So yeah, I feel quite positive about it now, which probably doesn't make any sense, but for those of you that follow me regularly, remember the Red Beast, the car? For anyone that hasn't a clue what I'm on about, I had a kind of an old car that was, you know, it worked, and it did what I needed to do. So I didn't want to replace it. I didn't want to buy a new car. It gave me what I wanted. And the car broke, the gearbox went, so I was left with no choice. I'm in exactly the same position again. But the new car's been quality and a joy to drive, you know. So I feel, in a way, quite good. It's given me this, like, excuse. This unavoidable excuse to buy a new camera. Which is what I've done. But that's where it ends. This is where I'm leaving it as a cliffhanger. That's the only bit of this tour that I've planned. I'm not telling you what I've got. You'll have to wait till next week. But I feel like it's probably quite obvious what I've got. But anyway, that's the story. Today, I'm going to be doing my landscape photography with this camera that's filming me, my wonderful little Olympus EM1 Mark III. Why does it say OMD on the front if it's an EM1? Olympus users, help me out. But that's what I'm using, EM1 Mark II. And I love it. It's a fantastic little camera, perfectly capable. We're here in the wonderful Lake District, of course. Another Wainwright, Hearts Up Dodd. This is the first video without the Nikon D7200 since I bought it.
Tonight, 'cause you don't seem to forget about yourself.
What a wally! What I just did there was genuine. Got the Olympus out and I was going to take this photograph in portrait orientation at first. There's no L-brack on it. So I put the camera on muscle memory from the D7200. I put it on as if there's an L bracket on it, but of course there isn't. So it was just a naked bare camera hitting the top of the tripod. And fortunately, guys, I quickly realised that isn't going to clip into the tripod. So yeah, we've still got the Olympus. We're not another camera down. That was madness. Anyway, moving on. I forgot to mention about this wonderful lens. It's an Olympus 40 to 150 f2.8. It's stunning, beautiful image quality, fantastically built lens. So it's a full frame equivalent of 80 to 300 in terms of the focal range. It's stunning, honestly. Of course, I never use this camera for stills, so you've never seen it. You've never seen me use it, but now is your chance. On top of that, before we get into the composition, this Olympus camera, the EM1 Mark II, has got this wonderful feature called high resolution photograph, and it basically takes a photograph at 50 megapixels, even though it's just got a micro 4/3 20 megapixel sensor. A real basic and brief definition of how it works: it takes several photographs, piles them all on top of each other, like merges them all together. I think it moves half a pixel between each photograph, and thus gives you this wonderfully sharp 50 megapixel photograph. Incredible. Now, in saying that, I've never used it out on location. I've just messed about with it in the office, taking photographs of boxes and stuff, but it's looked good in there. So my expectations are high. We'll see how it looks, guys. Now, composition, to put it really simply, there's got quite a lot of mess, or what I would regard as mess, in this scene. You know, we've got this town down here, you know, buildings, roads, cars, and I'm using the telephoto lens. I'm only at 40mm here, so it's the full frame equivalent of 80mm. And I've just got Brock Crags up here on your right hand side, and then off in the background we've got Place Fell, and it's just that little boxing technique again, where I just want that little section. As I look there, I box it off with my eyes. It's quite wild and rugged and quite lonely feeling, you know, whereas the wider vista is mess, too much going on, you know, civilization. We don't want that. But yeah, this is nice. The sky's quite decent. Is it that mackerel sky? I remember I had a video ages ago up Stickle Tarn, and it was one of you guys commented and said it was a mackerel sky. It's that similar thing. The clouds are really beautiful. But yeah, you know, it's nice. The light is quite subdued. I'm at f5.6. I've focused on Brock Crags, ISO 200 and 40mm. I've already said that. 1/400th of a second. Top draw. What an evening. I've just sat here and had myself a slice of chocolate cake with a view of Ullswater, I think, right off in the distance. Just a little bit of Ullswater. Anyway, before we carry on, I wanted to stop and say another massive thank you briefly to today's video sponsor, which is Squarespace. If you don't know who they are, it's basically a platform where you can build your own website. I've used them myself for over 2.5 years. My experience could not be more positive. So it's an absolute honour for them to be supporting me, you know, on my channel. Main thing for me is it's just been so easy, effortless, pure drag and drop stuff. They've got loads of templates and it's really simple. Also great for portfolio stuff, you know, if you just want to showcase your work. I don't even really use Instagram that much. I'm just happy with what I've got on my Squarespace website. And I also use them for my online shop, of course, to sell ebooks and prints, and also to sell my 2022 landscape photography calendar, which is now available for pre-order. Head over to my wonderful Squarespace website. I had to get that in there. But yeah, if you want to give Squarespace a go yourself to build your own website, go to squarespace.com/Henry Turner, and if and when you decide to make a purchase, use the offer code Henry Turner for 10% off your first purchase. Sweet, let's crack on. So we must be around about 3/4 of the way up now, guys, and the views are getting beautiful. You can see, we can now see Brothers Water. I couldn't see him about the first quarter of the hike. So that's really nice. And he's kind of been in my plan really for this hike. I haven't really planned it, but I've picked this particular fell because of the perspective that we get over Brothers Water. whereby he's in the foreground and the background is that sky where the sun is setting. So hopefully my loose plan, let's say, is just to get a really nice simple classic photograph from the side of a mountain, lake in the foreground, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, something happens with that sky. Of course, I'm not going to limit myself just to that one photograph if I don't need to. You can see down in the Patterdale now, hopefully the light is getting nicer and nicer by the minute. Oh, it's looking really nice actually. I'll probably grab a quick snap here that I'll show you. And then I'll meet you at the top, because golden hour is in about half an hour and I think it's about that to get up. So as always, I need to get a little bit of a wobble on. We're up. And Wainwright says that the summit, the proper summit, oh, it's this little wooden fence post here which crosses this wall that you can see that makes its way over Hartshop Dodd. Absolutely class. It's beautiful. We can see actually quite a lot of Ullswater back there, which is nice. And yeah, I'm just going to hang around up here for a bit. I have seen a photograph, I think, back to the south, so I'll probably get set up and take that now, and then I'll chat to you in a minute. But the sky's looking quite nice. It's clouded over a little bit since I last spoke to you, but it's still looking promising. The high cloud is looking wonderful. A little bit more low cloud has come in, but it's very bitty, like lots of gaps, and I think it's just adding to it, you know, it's become quite a lot more dramatic. So things are looking good. I'll get myself set up now and I'll get back to you. Guys, look at that sky. We're about 15 minutes till the sunset. I still want to try and get that shot over Brothers Water, like I was talking about before, but I'm quickly going to grab a couple of shots from here actually. And the area of interest is on your left hand side. We've got Red Screes and he just falls, he dips down as he comes into Dove Crag, but then in between, or sort of across that little dip there, we've got, I think it's either Wetherlam or Coniston Old Man. There's loads of cloud over there, so I can't tell, but he's kind of framed in between that little dip and it looks glorious. So I've got the 40 to 150 lens on again here on the Olympus. I'm taking one shot at 150, zoomed right in on Wetherlam, I think it is, and he's just peeking out the clouds off there in the background. And it's nice and abstract, but what it is we're getting this really nice, you can probably see it now, this like peachy red pinky sort of colour, really subdued, but and like quite flat, you know, not vibrant, but I love it. You know, it's so nice, these quiet colours that I love about I suppose this time of the evening, you know, the golden hour just before the sunset. Obviously no light on the land or anything, but I quite like it. It's nice. And then I'm taking one at 60 and a little more zoomed out. I think I'm going to prefer this abstract shot though, which is at 1/40th of a second, f5.6 and ISO 200. I'm going to grab that now. There we go. I've got it in the high resolution shot mode again. 50 megapixels. That's what you need. You need 50 megapixels, right? Especially if you're posting it on Instagram, all right? Or if you're showing somebody your photograph on your phone, you need 50 megapixels at least, all right? Sweet. So the sky, what do I say here? We're past the sunset now. It's one of them where I need to wait around for at least another 10 minutes. But it's nice. It's probably not like kicked off like I thought it would. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. We had quite a fiery sky in one spot. I've decided against going down to the Brothers Water photograph to get that shot. Just because I want to grab this little cairn here. It's quite a big cairn actually. Just a nice classic cairn foreground. What I've done is placed that sort of area of fiery sky just above the cairn, so it looks quite cool. But then right up in the background, we're kind of naturally led out to what would be the southern end, the southern arm of Ullswater as he sort of bends round towards us. It's really nice. And yet, all in all, the sky is nice, you know. I've got the 12 to 60 lens on, so I'm at about, what are we talking here, about 16 mil, equivalent of 32 mil on a full frame, so relatively wide, you know. But I like it. I've gone for the high res mode again, the high res photograph, focused on the Canon f5.6, ISO 200, and this one was around about half a second because it's got fairly dark now. Main thing is I've just tried to make sure, or you know, I've made sure that I don't blow out the highlights where the sun's setting, where we've got that nice patch of colour in the sky, because that's important, you know, that's an important part of the photograph, goes without saying. But that's that. I'm going to sit here and enjoy the rest of this, even though it's late. 9 minutes to 10 in the evening. I'm going to get the pot noodle out and the jet boil. It's happening. But I'll show you this photograph now. Before I do, a massive thank you for your support, and cheers for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you can spare me a quick second, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. It really does help me out. And like I mentioned earlier on, if you'd like to support my work, one of the best ways you can do it is by pre-ordering my brand new 2022 landscape photography calendar. I know it's early, it's stupidly early really. Who's buying calendars in July like? But it's there. The pre-orders come with free international shipping, and I'm going to hand sign each pre-order myself. Yeah, so I'd get in now because the postage is probably going to be fairly expensive because it's like international, you know. I've just got to average it out. Anyway, any purchases of that calendar, thank you so much. You're helping me live my dream. Cheers. Thanks for tuning in. Link to the calendar below, forgot to say that. I'll see you on the next adventure. Out.